Hello everybody and welcome to a match from the Burswood Super Amateur StarCraft 2 Invitational. This is Scat and I'll be casting all of the games from this series. Up at the top here we have Andrew playing the pink Terran, and in this mirror matchup on the right hand side we have Tonberry with the red Terran. Now both of these players are quite amateur. We don't have any masters or grandmasters in this league at all. This is just people from our workplace having some fun and playing for a cash prize. GLHF coming out from Tonberry, and Andrew wishing him all the best as well. Supply depot going down for Andrew, and a late supply depot coming down here from Tonberry. Looks like he's going to get supply blocked for a while, which is good. Getting supply blocked on 11 is definitely the way to go. Just a little bit about myself. I started off as a StarCraft and Brood War player back in the day. I've grown up with StarCraft and Blizzard games all my life, and in StarCraft 2 I am a reasonably decent mid-plat, low Masters level player, but definitely nothing to write home about. This is just an experiment in playing and casting and getting a lot of people at our work to have some fun. So here we go, we're seeing Andrew scouting the one place on the map where his opponent absolutely cannot spawn on Metalopolis. Lovely old school map, but he probably doesn't know about that fairly recent change. Looks like their scouting SCVs are going to run into each other down at the bottom center spawn here. Here we go, Tonberry checking, no base there, and the workers run past each other. At least one of the players saw that, and Tonberry comments on it. Barracks going up, and I'm lagging like hell. Excellent, I'm probably going to have to fix that. Here we go. Supply depot going off, the wall off is complete, and Andrew is not going to see anything up here in Tonberry's base. Not that there's anything to see. Orbital command going down, playing very standard. There's that latency again. Here we go, factory going down, and the wall off is complete for Andrew, as Tonberry's worker just comes up now. Making sure he hasn't taken a quick third. You have to make sure you scout the third, especially when you're versing a Terran just before the 4-minute mark, because the chances of them having 3 bases up by now is pretty high. So here we go, he's just going to chill here for a moment it seems, while Andrew holds the watchtower. And what are we going to see here? Marines coming out, not going anywhere. Double gas going down for Tonberry. Still on 1 gas for Andrew. Factory is finished, tech lab on the way. Second barracks coming down with a reactor. Are we going to see blue flame Hellions? Meanwhile, we've got a barracks coming up here at Andrew's third from Tonberry, and a second one queued up. Looks like we're going for some proxy 2 racks pressure at the 6-minute mark. Well, this could be interesting. He's got 4 Marines behind his wall, moving around rather ineffectually, making sure there's no drops coming in at the 5-minute mark. Possibly checking for proxies himself. And meanwhile, Andrew playing very standard. We've got blue flame coming up, we've got a tech lab. Looks like he's going to research blue flame and then lift off and drop a factory here. Or maybe he'll just build a second factory in the wall. He's saving up his gas. There's 100 gas. Is he going to build a second factory? Waiting for it. Nope, just sitting there. There it goes. Second factory is up. We just had a pause there by the looks of it. I was spectating this game, by the way, just for the lols, you could say. And here we go. Bit of friendly banter between the players and the referee, myself. We've got supply depots coming up here just to make sure that he can scout any cloaked banshees coming across this close air position. Meanwhile, he has very little defense at his front, only 3 marines at his front and 4 in the middle of his base. 7 marines should be able to hold off any pressure with the wall intact, but if these Hellions manage to fry the marine standing next to the wall, he could be in trouble. However, we do have an expansion coming up from Tonberry at Andrew's third, as Andrew takes his natural. Not to mention the double proxy racks with tech labs and marauders with concussive shells at Andrew's third. Now, Andrew may just think that Tonberry is playing badly here, and that would be a fairly safe assumption to make in this tournament. We have huge skill discrepancies between the players, but a scan going down now, he's only going to see the factory and no units being produced while that tech lab comes up. So what is he going to think here? Let's see. He's got 4 Hellions. Blue Flame is done. This is very interesting. A lot of suspense right now. Just seeing what's going to happen. Are they going to move out? Is he ever going to raise this wall? Let's see, both players have their expansions up now. Tonberry just getting a planetary fortress up here, probably a good move, but he really needs to get a second orbital up at some point, but now is not the time. He's got enemies outside his base with 80 minerals to his name. Quite a nice marine count, but it's not going to hold up against this massive Hellion force if they can get shots on them, and here we go. Huge blue flame damage coming out now. Tonberry has nothing left. But it looks like he's going for a big counter-attack. We could see a 10-minute base trade with this proxy. And the Marauders Marines are coming out now and firing the orbital command. Andrew has absolutely nothing. He notices it, he lifts the wall, but he doesn't lift the orbital command and it goes down. These SCVs are ripe for the taking, and is he pulling back his attack force? Nope, he's only pulling back some of them, and he's going for economic damage with the Hellions. This is a fairly good play. These players are not going to be having the highest APM right now, so any kind of micro that we see out of them is going to be fairly impressive. All of these Marines get taken out. All of these workers, sorry. And the orbital command gets lifted off, and several buildings all taking to the air right now, but he's still harvesting with 1 SCV. How many units does he have right now? He has 1 SCV. Tonberry has a single SCV, mining minerals on this side of the map. He could mule, but his orbital command is floating in the air. But he does have a fairly large army. He could go for an all-in attack right now to counter and try to take this game. He's got the siege tank, no siege mode, no way to research it, but quite a sizable army. It could definitely put a fight to this army from Andrew. They've got very similar compositions though. These Hellions are too far forward, they're far overextended, but it's okay because everyone is just on move commands and no one attacked each other. Meanwhile, Andrew has not scouted these proxy racks or the expansion at all. Very interesting, really. He must have wondered where those marauders came from at the start of the game, but clearly he hasn't looked into it too much because he's just playing very standard. He's still producing, he's got siege tech, siege tanks, marauders coming up, going for this very anti-mech play that Tonberry doesn't seem to be supporting. Anyway, here we go. Siege tech coming up right now. Andrew has 2 tanks and currently no wall off. But siege tech is done. Tonberry just really needs to move up this wall. Andrew destroying his own reactor. Tonberry not moving up, not even gonna have a poke to see what's up there. Andrew has absolutely no units. Here we go. 3 tanks. Ooh, Tonberry moving a little close there. He's going to be very scared by this, even though he's got a vastly superior army. And he loses a tank and Tonberry pulls back with no idea that he could have very easily taken the game right there if he just moved up the ramp with his huge force of Marine Marauder with a tank before Siege Tech finished. But Andrew holds on, still on 1 base, while Tonberry is pulling back up with 2 bases harvesting once again. Let's see, we've got 23 workers for Andrew and 17 for Tonberry, catching up very quickly, playing a macro game. And who'd have thought we'd see a macro game after that base trade at the 10-minute mark? Very interesting how these games turn around at the amateur levels of skill here. What have we got? We've got 3 siege tanks and 3 marauders holding off this entire force. Tonberry very happy to just sit in the middle of nowhere doing nothing with his half-health army, being microed in small circles and generally being ineffective, and taking a 3rd. But Andrew is going to scout it with this 5 HP Viking. Could probably land it and take out the working SCV here, but chooses not to, or otherwise doesn't notice. Nope, Andrew is just going to push up with his entire army rather than landing the Viking and taking it out. His entire army. There they go, he's leaving 2 tanks without siege for defense and leaving the wall down. Probably not the smartest move, given that Tonberry still has his entire force parked in the middle of nowhere just outside the base. Tonberry scary there, looked like he was going to go for a counterattack but decided just to move a few feet. Here we go. He's pulling his forces back. Tonberry lifted off his 3rd base and is floating to Andrew's high yield base. If you can't take your own, I guess you should just take your enemies. It's working well for him now. He's still got this 3rd base and it's still unscouted as far as I know. Yes, Andrew has not seen it at all. So back to the everyone camera. Tonberry has officially had his main completely opened up to Andrew's forces. He had no wall and now he's got absolutely no chance of holding this. He has no units. His entire army has walked flat out into siege tanks, which they will clean up, but they will not have enough left to battle these tanks and marauders on the high ground, and he wisely pulls back slightly, a little, before re-engaging with 2 marauders and a tank, which will all promptly get cleaned up, and this medevac will get taken out by the 5 health Viking, proving to be very good value here. Why would you repair a Viking anyway when your opponent has nothing that can shoot up? So all of these SCVs getting cleaned up. The orbital command once again taking to the skies, and a Banshee has come out, a very interesting choice given that his opponent has a Viking in the middle of his base. Here we go, the Banshee flying away. All it needs to do really is fly into this Viking to ram it for its 5 HP damage. The Viking running on fumes at the moment, not really able to keep itself together, but able to pay for itself several times over in kills, taking out that Banshee before it did any damage. The entire base of Tonberry is floating down towards his 3rd. As we see, the natural here is completely untouched the whole game, because when you've got 3 bases, why would you take your natural expansion, right? Meanwhile, Andrew's still running off 1 base. He's floating his orbital, and oh no, is he trying to take the high yield? He is. This is not going to work out for him, because he's going to try to land his orbital and notice that there is a base here, and the Viking scouts it. Hero Viking on 5 health once again spots another expansion. Well, the same expansion actually, because he spotted it building when it was over here just before. So here we go. Tonberry wisely moving his marines right into the melee range of the siege tank, minimizing the damage they take. And this is a close battle until this entire force here from Andrew arrives, and it looks like he's going to clean up this high yield. Once again, another Tonberry expansion lifts off, and another building could fall to the 5 health Viking, just leaning up all around the map at the moment. Still hasn't been repaired. By God, Andrew, get an SCV out. Drop a mule for this hero Viking. Give him a promotion. He is no recruit. This is a Tom Cruise absolute aerial ace straight out of Top Gun right here. Shooting down command centers or generally giving vision to SCV to Marines. Nope. Shoots it down himself with those Lancer torpedoes. And Andrew mass mules this high yield, hoping to mine it out as quickly as possible with all that saved up energy. Here's the big Maynard sending in all of those SCVs, and a little bit of chat here. Just die. Not very polite, really. He probably thinks that Tonberry is floating around the map with a couple of buildings. Doesn't realize that he has 2 fully operational bases. He may not be mining because he has no rally point. And yes, since I was refereeing this match at the time, I was definitely having some fun watching this. But I've forgotten exactly how this match runs in the last couple of weeks since this match was played, so it's very entertaining to watch it again. Andrew is finally scouting the base that he's had at Andrew's third this whole time. Looks like the push is going to get resisted, but he knows it's here now, and this could be big trouble for Tonberry. He knows that he's in trouble. He said crap in the chat. Andrew still doesn't know about this base as far as I can tell, though. Oh no, he's seen it. 5 health Viking all the way, spotting all of the bases, taking out all the command centers by himself. 2 more Vikings just sitting in the corner. They don't want to get involved. They don't want to steal his thunder. They're like, you know what, dude? While you're at it, just keep it up. If you go down, we'll come in and clean up. But for now, 5 health Viking is all the air support Andrew needs. Here he is, moving across the map. Looks like he spread some Marines out. He doesn't want to have any more surprise expansions land. Pushing up into this base. Looks like Tonberry only has 3 tanks, 2 Marines to defend. Should be able to hold this off, but he's going to lose some tanks in the process. Another one pops out though, and target firing the Marines with Marauders is not the best idea. So here we go. Didn't lose too much for Tonberry there. 1 tank, 2 Marines. Keeps his tanks alive, and we're seeing a Banshee and a Viking come out from Tonberry here, going for a small little air force. See if he can do some damage with this Banshee. The last one didn't do a whole lot because 5 health Viking chased him all the way across the map and killed him with those torpedoes. Thought we had a push coming up from Tonberry, but no, he's just running all of his SCVs away from this big push from Andrew. Finally, looks like he's going to clean up his own 3rd base. But Andrew's still only really mining from 1 base this whole game, where Tonberry has been dancing between 1 and 3. Very interesting. Looks like this high yield is going to be mined out soon though, so Andrew is going to need to finish this game fairly soon, but he does have the army to do it. Looks like, did 5 health Viking get some repairs? Did he get repaired for 22 health? That just seems like cheating. Completely unnecessary. But here we go. At least he's showing a bit of consideration for the poor Viking pilot. Try to put the wings back on it so that it can fly around without blowing up. Meanwhile, the 2 Vikings sitting in the corner, they don't want to get involved. They don't even want to take out this supply depot. In fact, they can't even see it past all that smoke. Looks like Andrew's going to push down here. He knows about this base. He spotted it earlier, but he doesn't know about this new base coming up from Tonberry. Never say die. He's definitely pulling a Bruce Willis here in Die Hard. What do we got? For the vision, definitely cannot see it from Andrew. He knows that this refinery's up, but he doesn't know that there's any buildings down here in the bottom corner. Tonberry showing how old school he is, saying that he wants Goliaths. I don't think that'll really help though, because the only air that you're up against is anti-air dedicated support, so they're really no threat to your forces right now. Here we go. Big push from Andrew, those Vikings spotting the high ground, and Tonberry getting cleaned up by siege tanks, marauders, marines right here. These three tanks not going to do anything, they're going to run away. There's the GG, and it looks like this game could be over. Tonberry has GG'd, all he needs to do now is leave the game. But nope, he's just pointing out the fact that he has another 2 bases. This base here and a... Yep, there's the scan to see the fully operational base in the bottom corner. What does Andrew think of that? We may not see a reply in the chat, but this big force is just going to push it through. And yes, watching this game, I did have a little bit of fun, I must say. In fact, that's the reason I chose to cast this game so early in the competition. So here we go. Now I do have to stipulate, this was a practice game from before any of the serious games in the matchup, and both of these players actually did fairly well in the tournament. They both improved immensely over the course of the games, and while the tournament is still going at the time of casting, both are in reasonable positions to take it through to the finals. There we go, Tonberry has left the game, and thank you for watching, everyone.